Welcome everyone, today I have a new build guide for Diablo 4, and today we'll be looking at the max level Necromancer, which is going to be a Blood Mage. So quite excited to share this with you guys, and because we have already spoke about the Necromancer build previously, some of the things will be similar, some of the things will be very different, because we'll be sacrificing some of the summons and also gaining a lot of stats, and we'll be amplifying those sacrifices with sacrificial aspect to gain more bonus. So this build will be focusing on endgame Necromancer that uses most of the blood spells for sustain, for increased damage, and also for survivability. So coming over to a summary of the skill choices. For basic skill, we'll be looking into Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage will give us a bit of the energy gain and also drops blood orbs, and this will be a theme of the build. We'll be getting a lot of blood orbs for additional summons of the Bone Spirit and also for other effects. As for core skill, I decided to go with Blood Surge for additional perks and also ability to gain more life as we deal damage. As for the Macabre, I can't pronounce this one, so we'll be going with Blood Mist. This gives us invulnerability, life gain, and also disengagement. In terms of corruption, because we'll be very durable and will be sustaining a lot, we can also take a lot of damage, and Iron Maiden will be perfect for dealing additional damage to enemies who deal damage to us. As for the summons, we'll be getting increase of AoE damage and also lots of spawns of Bone Spirit because we'll be critical hitting, and also we'll be getting a lot of blood orbs which will summon more Bone Spirit, which I'll show you guys in the Codex. As for the ultimate, we'll go with Blood Wave. This is the perfect ultimate for the blood build for the Blood Mage. And finally, for the Capstone, I'm thinking of going Rathma's Vigor, which gives us more sustain, more damage, and also more HP. So coming over to the build calculator and also the skill tree. Right away, something interesting, because I decided to go no summons for a Necromancer. It's a little strange, but just bear with me guys, there's a lot of good stats and also effects. So we'll be sacrificing Skeleton Warriors to gain 5% critical increase. And we'll be sacrificing the Golem to gain 30% critical damage increase. Right away you can see we're building for the end game. A lot of late game stats like critical hit, critical damage, and also a lot of the higher damage for the end game will be provided. But the downside is you won't have your summons. And for the Skeleton Mage, we'll be going with overpower damage. This is going to be another source of damage for the Blood Mage. We have lots of sustain, we have lots of fortify, and our HP base is quite high. So overpower deals bonus damage with your base HP and also fortified HP. And dealing more damage is not bad. Of course, we can also go with increased vulnerability damage for 15%, but because we'll be going with some skill perks that goes with overpower, this is especially powerful in the build. So coming over to a skill tree for the basic skills. We'll be going with Hemorrhage. Notice that usually I go with level 1 for basic skill, but here we'll have level 5, but this is optional because we have some spare points. We'll leave this on level 1 and we'll have 4 allocated spare points for other talents and also passives. I'll show you guys as we go, but of course you can go with level 1 first and come back to level 5 if you have the spare points. We'll go with picking up a blood orbs will release and deal damages to enemies and also increase essence per hit. This will give us more energy and more resource. And of course we'll go with Hemorrhage provide us with Fortify, and a very small 1.5% chance of getting 100% Fortify for the base life, which is a jackpot. But because you'll be using Hemorrhage to deal damage quite a bit, the 1.5% could be happen quite often. And the other consideration is to increase attack speed, but because our build is built for sustain, unkillability, and also lots of Fortify for bonus overpower damage, I prefer to have the Fortify over here over the attack speed. Now for the core skill tree, we'll be going with Blood Surge. We could go with the Blood Lance, but comparison, I think the Blood Surge provides us with more sustain, and also the Blood Nova will increase as the damage is thrown to enemy. Over here we'll be getting more heals with the Blood Surge, and also over here, this is a perk I'm quite interested in. It is the Supernatural Blood Surge. This means you'll be dealing bonus damage depending on your fortified maximum HP. And notice that on the previous perk, we can have a chance of getting 100% Fortify of base life. And there's a lot of other perks that give us Fortify, which reduce damage taken, and also give us a massive boost of damage with the Blood Surge. Now as for the passives, we'll go with 1 maximum essence, and over here we'll go with increased core skill damage by 30% with additional 15% cost of the essence. This is actually quite nice. 30% bonus damage for Blood Surge is going to be a very nice multiplier. So coming over to the next part, Macabre. So we'll be going with Blood Mist. You could go with level 1 or even up to level 5 because we have some spare points, right? So with the Blood Mist, you'll become invulnerable and immune for 3 seconds. Your movement speed is reduced, but you'll be draining life from enemies, and you'll be healing for 100% of the damage dealt. Over here, the movement speed reduces back to 70% instead of 50%. And over here, we again will be fortifying ourselves with base life each time we hit enemies. Now, we can leave behind corpses, but no, we don't really need corpses, right? We don't use corpses. So again, Blood Mist is a survivability, healing, and also disengagement. It also fortifies our character, which means we'll be more durable and deals more overpower damage. As for corruption, notice our essence of the build is to survive, to tank up, to lifesteal. We'll be taking damage directly from enemies, and with Iron Maiden, we'll take damages means enemies will be dealt damage back at them. And here with upgrades, Blood Maiden can become a curse, cursing spell that provides us with essence, so this becomes a resource generator. On top of that, we'll also be healing when enemies who are affected by Blood Maiden, who are Iron Maiden, who are killed. I keep saying Blood Maiden. So enemies who are affected by Iron Maiden will heal us for 5% of maximum life, so more sustain. And this keeps our character very healthy. What you're going to see is a lot of the skill perks will allow us to be healthy, and when we're healthy, we deal more damage. Here we have some passives, so when enemies are closer to us, they take more damage, and they deal less damage to us. And over here, when enemies are cursed by Iron Maiden, we'll also be dealing additional 9% damage to them. Now in the summoning section of the skill tree, we'll be going with Bone Spirit, and Bone Spirit will be going for level 5. Now there's a lot of good perks with Bone Spirit. One thing I like about it is a standalone spell, because compared to the other spells, that Bone Spirit is a standalone spell that actually gets a lot of benefits from the Codex. So here you can see that when we get Blood Orbs, which we do spawn a lot with Hemorrhage and also later skills, we'll be summoning a Bone Spirit with every 5 Blood Orbs, and the damage of the Bone Spirit will be increased on the distance traveled. So there's a lot of perks with Codex that really builds into this spell, and the spell itself will have a cooldown reduction. So every time a critical hit with a spell, we reduce the cooldown by 6 seconds. And the spell itself gives us 10% critical chance. We do have a nice critical chance by sacrificing the minions. And this was really nice bonus, right? So the spell itself have a decent damage. And on top of that, the more essence energy we have, we deal more damage. So, this comes back to that this spell can do AoE damage and also more distance damage. Now there are some really nice passives on the summoning section. So here we can go with Begets Blood. So while below life, we gain more resource, more healing. Now it is again optional to go with this, because if you find yourself always high on HP, you can just go with level 1. But over here, Concealed Blood is that after being healthy for a number of seconds, our next blood skill overpowers. This is going to be essential of the build for bonus damage, because you're very durable, and you tend to be healthy, which is above 80% HP. What that means is, you deal bonus damage in terms of your health and fortified HP. And again, this also increases additional overpower damage, so our blood skill will deal overpower damage by another 15%. It is doubled to 30% if you're healthy. In order to keep ourselves healthy, most of our skills will heal us. And coming back over here, we also have the lucky hit with hitting enemies skills have a chance of fortifying HP. So most of our skills will fortify us and then keep us healthy with lifesteal. And then we deal bonus damage because we're healthy, and we deal massive overpower damage this way. So the more tanky you are, the more damage you deal. Now finally, coming over to the ultimate section, we'll be picking Blood Wave. This damage will allow us to deal a tidal wave of 90% damage and knock back enemies. Now the core essence for this particular spell, I guess, is that the cooldown is 50 seconds. It's not at the lowest, but the passive will provide us with 3 Blood Orbs as it travels. So this means that we can be making more Blood Orbs, which will summon more Bone Spirit, and the Blood Wave will also slow enemies. Now, it is optional to pick this one, but ideally compared to the other ones, because we're going for a Blood Mage build, I think going with the consistency of the blood damage and also knockback is not bad for survivability and also for burst healing. Now, because we'll be sacrificing all of the skeleton minions, we can be having a massive damage reduction for 18% because we don't have any other minions, right? And this is one of the most durable perks for our build, because we don't have any minions, we'll be very durable, very sustainable, and reduce massive damage. We can always go with the final part, because we also get the sacrifice bonus of the skeleton warrior and also skeleton mages bonus by another 60% bonus increase. So this is pretty massive. This means the 5% bonus critical rate will become 8%. and the 30% of the bonus overpower damage will become 48% of bonus. So those are massive bonuses because we're sacrificing minions, and this is one of the best thing about the end game for this build, because you get a lot of stab boosts. And on top of that, having more blood wave means that we get more blood orbs, and also this gives us a bit more healing. For the capstone section, we'll go with Rathma's Vigor. So this gives us bonus life, which deals more overpower damage, and also this increases our damage by 25% for everything when we're healthy. That means we'll be very sustainable, very durable, and deal lots more damage. Now if we come over to the Codex section of the build, it is very similar to my previous Necromancer build, so we still go with aspect of Disobedience and also aspect of Might, which just makes us more durable. Now some of the interesting offensive perks over here is going to be the sacrificial aspects. So this means the bonus we get from sacrificing our minions is up to 15%. And this means if we come back over here, if we sacrifice, actually just stay over here, if we sacrifice our minions over here, right, the 5% becomes 6.5%, and 30% overpower damage becomes 34.5%, and finally we also get 34.5% for bonus critical strike damage. Actually, this is not 6.5, right? This is actually, so what was it? So this is actually 0.75 bonus critical hit, because it's 15% of 0.5, right? So it's 5.75 bonus critical hit. Lots of maths on the go. So coming back over here, there's also a few other aspects. So for the Blood Surge Novas, they will echo after a short delay, which deals 60% less damage. But even dealing 6% less damage means you're dealing 40% more damage, right? So it echoes and does the Blood Nova again. And over here we also have Possessed Blood. So this is the one we talk about, the Bone Spirit. Getting Blood Orbs means we summon more Bone Spirit. And having more Bone Spirit means we deal more damage. And this also deals bonus damage based on the current life percent, which will likely to be over 80%. And this particular aspect also increases the damage of the Bone Spirit by 15% for the distance traveled. Now in terms of the resource for the Codex, going with Fast Blood aspect is actually very powerful, because a lot of the build revolves around Blood Orbs, and getting lower cooldowns of Blood Orbs for the ultimate spells means we can effectively cast in the ultimate spell, which is gonna be the 50-second spell for the Blood Wave. We can reduce its cooldown maybe down to 30 seconds, because itself will provide more Blood Orbs as well. So having more Blood Orbs means we do more Bone Spirit, and this in return lowers our cooldown. So this will be very interesting, having those orbs and also lowering cooldowns consistently. Now similarly for the Blood Orbs, getting the Blood Orbs at full life, which will be very healthy usually, we also gain Essence. This means we have more energy to spend to deal more damage. As for utility, we can go with Torturous aspects, so that means the Iron Maiden have a chance of stunning enemies when they deal direct damage. This is quite defensive, and we didn't perk into bonus damage to stun enemies, so here we didn't perk into bonus damage. But if you want to be more durable, you can perk into those, or you don't even need to perk into this. This is just for more bit of debuff, and when you take damage from enemies, they get stunned, means you take less damage. And in terms of mobility, we'll go with the Wind Striker. We gain movement speed when we critical hit, and we do tend to critical hit a lot, because we'll be perking into a lot of critical hits, and our passives and also sacrifices give us more critical rate. Now overall, I would say this build is definitely not the meta build for the Necromancer, because you'll be sacrificing all of your minions. But in return, you gain a lot of Blood Orbs, and you gain lots of healing, and you gain lots of Fortified, and you gain healthy status because you're so durable, and then you use Overpower, and then you get lots of cooldown reduction with Blood Orbs and lots of Bone Spirit summons. So it's going to be a fun build. I think the later game this goes, the stronger the character will become, because your skills, your legendaries, and your items will become stronger. And this is definitely an alternative build for the Necromancer if you guys want to try Blood Mage. And I do believe this build will be quite interesting if you're going to play hardcore, because it's so durable, so survivable, and deals a tons of damage. Now before we finish, because we're quite durable and we also have a bit of spare points with this particular build, we could perk into the Spike Armor for the 9 Thorns, and also with the 9 Thorns we can also perk into the Needle Flare aspects, which means we can deal thorn damage to enemies around us. Now of course this is not going to be the perfect Thorn build. I do plan to build a Thorn build for the Necromancer, because over here we do have the Spike Defender, and also the defenders can inherit the Thorns we gain from our character. So this could be quite interesting, but bear with me on that build because it's a little mini, right? It's a little main build. Now before you go, and if you guys didn't know, we have a new YouTube channel. So I just started a YouTube channel with my girlfriend yesterday, and you can see this is only 12 hours old, this YouTube channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and check out the behind the scenes and also fun clips and also more stories about us. And then you get to know me a little more personally instead of just reading the news and also the games, right? So I want to share a little bit more with you guys. So make sure you check this channel out if you're interested about Matt and also Uni. She's really funny too, and she's really shy. So I want to give her a surprise and do a shout out for the new channel to get some subscribers. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.